It's that time of year again. Biannual Bibliothon. Yeah, it's the final one. Hi! Welcome. How are you? Have you ever heard of the Biannual Bibliothon? This is your last chance to participate because it is the final one, which is devastating. It's gut-wrenching. But this will be a super fun one for you to join in on if you've never done it before, because all of the hosts from all the previous years are back. So that is such a fun thing that they've decided to do. Now, I know my niche, my little like thing that I do every biannual bibliothon is the video challenges, and that was kind of my thing. But this year, because of the lack of equipment mostly, but also lack of mental health, also, I will be focusing more on the reading challenges this year. What I would love to do this year is a vlog, like maybe every 2 days, maybe every 3 days, and do that instead. So as we're still having a conversation, we're still having a good time together, but there is that less bit of pressure on me to do it. So, saying that, we're going to get into the reading challenges. Now, because this is the last bibliothon, it is a longer bibliothon because there's more hosts. Yay! So, the dates are from the 11th to the 19th of July, which is, I think by the time this video goes up, it'll be next week. So, right off the bat, we've got a issue with the first challenge, which is read the group book, which is Aurora Rising. Now, I don't have access to it, so it's not currently on my TBR. So we're going to skip over that and hope no one notices. Shh, don't tell. But first book on my TBR covers 2 challenges, so I'm excited to share this one with you. I hope you're excited too. The challenges that it covers, before I show you what book it is read an adult book and read a book by an author you've never read before. Now, this will absolutely blow your mind that I've not read this author, and it has done for many people who are like, oh, hang on, you like these genres but you haven't read this author, and that is On Writing by Stephen King. I know, I haven't read Stephen King yet, and he's such like a well-respected author too. This is a book that's part memoir, part like writing craft book, and it is always recommended in classes that I've taken on writing, and also just like people who write, they like recommend this book. So I picked up a copy and I'm very excited to read it. I'm hoping that it, oh, that's a receipt. I'm hoping that it inspires me. I'm also doing Camp NaNoWriMo. I'm hoping that this will be helpful for that. The next book is, does it complete the challenge? I mean, no, but we're gonna pretend that it does. The challenge is to read a graphic novel. I don't have any graphic novels on my TBR, but I do have books with graphics in them. And by graphics, I mean photographics. It's Mappa Days by Ransom Riggs. This is the 4th book in the e.m.m.a.f.a.g.a.n series, kind of a follow-on series from the original trilogy. And it has, like the first 3 books, photos, vintage photos, real vintage photos, which are really creepy, but also really cool. Like, how did he find so many of these? It must have really been a task. The next challenge is to choose a book based on its cover. Now, the reason I chose this book for this cover, though I love the cover, and I do, is because it led me on a wild goose chase trying to find this cover. Because for some reason, the 1st and 2nd book in the series were published in hardback in Ireland, but the 3rd book was published in trade paperback, and I wanted it to match. So I checked all the bookshops. They didn't have it. But then I went to London and I went to Foyles. You know that one that's just off Oxford Street? That really nice, very big Foyles, and they had a different cover, but it was hardback, but it was different. And I was like, maybe, but then I was walking up to the till. I saw the cover I wanted in the format I wanted, and it was just a beautiful moment. And so that book is Finale by Stephanie Garber. And this is the 3rd book in the Caravel series, and it's got a very pretty cover, and it's got that spine that the other 2 books have, so they match. So this cover for this book, it made me happy, and so I choose You, Pikachu. This is a young adult fantasy book about a magical caravel, like, interactive show, and it's kind of got Night Circus vibes. Wasn't really a fan of the 1st book, but the 2nd book completely changed my mind, and now I love this series. So I have big, high hopes for Finale, and I'm finally gonna read it. The next book I chose as the wildcard challenge. Now, this book I chose because I have a credit note for Apple, so I'm gonna get the audiobook for it, which makes me think I can read it as I go for my daily walks, and it'll be included then in the TBR and kind of boost up my page count, and that is Eldest by Christopher Paolini. I'm anxious to get this series finished. It's been on my shelves for I think 2 years now, 2.5 years, and that's a bit long. I'm trying to keep my TBR shelves in a much faster rotation than that, and so this series needs to get read, and I think an audiobook is the way to do it. I'll probably alternate between listening and reading the physical copy. The next 2 challenges I'm going to combine, and they are read a predicted 5-star book and also read a book you were really excited to read but then didn't pick up. And that book for me is Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray, which is a diviner's novel. They are a historical fiction young adult horror type story, and they are so good. They are so good. I really enjoy them. Because there was such a long wait between the first book and the next books in the series, I didn't want to read these as soon as they came out because I had to reread Diviners. And I only did that recently, and I didn't want to read these books without reading that because I knew I'd forgotten so much. So I've recently reread the first book, currently reading the second book, so by the time this readathon starts, I will be on this book. If we get to this point, I'm realizing as I look at my TBR that I was maybe over ambitious. The other challenges are to read one of the host's 5-star reading recommendations, and I'm going to also pretend that that challenge has been fulfilled. It hasn't. As per usual, I was over ambitious, but let me show you where we're at. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books, most of which look to be over 400 pages, 500, 600. What have I got myself into?